Hola amigos, ¿cómo estás? Welcome back to the channel. So, it's a bit of a one-off video today. Obviously, I don't normally do videos at this time, but, it's a special edition. So it's just literally within the last 10 minutes or so been announced that Santiago Munoz from Santos Laguna has now officially joined Newcastle United in the English Premier League. As from what I can understand, it's a loan with an option to buy, and they're probably going to put him in the U23s at least to begin with. Um, so yeah, I just wanted to give my thoughts on the move and what obviously I'm experienced with the Premier League and obviously a little bit of experience with Mexico and the Mexican League and Mexican players. So for me, it's actually a really good deal. So going straight into it. There's also rumours that Santos and him actually renewed his contract just before he left to go to England. So, what I think of it, yeah, really good for me, really good for the player. I think that I don't think he's going to go back to Santos. I think he's going to stay at Newcastle. A lot of the clubs this summer are doing loans with options to buy, with obligations to buy, that kind of thing. And she's just typical of that. Newcastle are not massive spenders. I don't think they were ever going to go out and get a massive or like a first team quality striker. I think they're looking for a cheap deal that maybe could serve them well in the future. And I think this is a great deal. I mean, he's 19 years old. He's got a whole load of years ahead of him at the top flight. So, um, what I think for him, let me just go with Santos's perspective first. I think there's a player that I think clearly wanted to leave. Maybe whether it's leave the club or leave the league, I'm not 100% sure, but he definitely wanted to leave. I think he was unfortunate not to be involved in the Olympic squad. I think he hasn't really been playing that much for Santos. He hasn't been playing that long, should I say? So he hasn't had massive first team experience, but he's clearly a talent. He's clearly rated by Santos. I mean, obviously he was in their first team, and they're no small team in Mexico either. They're quite a big team in Mexico, and they're doing quite well with producing um, young players. I think Santiago came from there as well. So he's now in Belgium, and arguably probably Mexico's next left back. But I think they've wanted to um, renew his contract, make sure that if Newcastle or anyone else does buy him next summer, that they get a decent price for him, which I think will happen. For him, obviously, there's no better league for me than the Premier League, and even though he's going to go into the 23s for a while, I don't even think it's going to be that long. He's going to learn loads from Newcastle. He's going to learn loads from being in England and their coaching staff. It's probably going to be a massive culture shock for him. I mean, I don't know how good his English is. His English might be alright. I'm not sure, but if it's not, he might want to brush up on it like Raul Jimenez did. I mean, I don't think I ever heard Raul Jimenez speak English until he went to Wolves and he did his first um, interview with Wolves, and he spoke English and he did it in English, and that was, for me, that was proof that he was hungry. So hopefully Munoz can replicate that. Yeah, he's going to learn loads this year. His knowledge is going to go through the roof this year. In a club like Newcastle, which is deep rooted in the English game, but obviously not one of the most successful clubs, with all due respect, but they're good at producing talent. They're good at playing on a budget, having teams on a budget, and producing decent players. And yeah, I mean, obviously, a lot of Newcastle fans are probably not going to be that thrilled about it. Mainly, I think, just through ignorance of not knowing who he is or not knowing the Mexican League. Um, but yeah, I think once they see him play, once they see how good he is, once he starts getting his debut and then plays for the first team, I feel that he's going to be a first team player for them before Christmas. I don't think he's going to be in the U23s that long, mainly because, from Newcastle's perspective, moving on to that, I think mainly because they don't have that much depth. They have a couple of strikers, Wilson, I think. Um, Dwight Gale, I don't think they're that keen on. I don't think he started for them for quite a while. Um, so for me, I think it's a cheaper option for them. Um, One that could pay off in the future if he becomes good. And they've obviously scouted him. I mean, I can't think of any other English team at the moment, Premier League team, that's actually scouting any Mexican players that's actually in Mexico at the moment. It's actually really rare. I don't see or read anything about that at the moment. Um, so for them to have to do that, and tells me that they've at least done their research. They've at least looked at him. They've it's a serious bid. It's not just for the banter, because obviously Santiago Munoz is the character from Goal. He's Santiago Munoz, so it's similar by one letter. So, there's all connotations with that. I mean, it's a good movie and it's a good story. It's good banter online. But Santiago Munoz is nothing like the character in the movie. For me, I think he's still quality. I think he's a really good player, a really young player. Um, in a position where Mexico needs to start replenishing their strikers because Raul Jimenez is not getting any younger. Chicharito looks like he's done with the L tree setup. Henry Martin's all right, but not that great. Funes Mori as well is a bit of a filler. Maybe Messias can come good at Getafe. We'll have to wait and see, but I think it's good that this young player's decided to go to England, one arguably the hardest league in the world, and try and make it over there. And for me, it's all about whether he can actually do that, seize his opportunity. He's definitely good enough to be in Newcastle's first 11. Not right away, not right now, but I think by November time, I think he'll get his first team debut. Um, but the Premier League is a tough league, and there's lots of teams with really good defenses in this league. So he may struggle for a while, and it's all going to be a bit pressure for him because obviously he's their only striking reinforcement so far this summer. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of pressure on him. So hopefully he can handle that. But I'm really happy at the moment. I would love to. I've been aching for more Mexicans to go to the Premier League, and it's happened. So hopefully he can do well. Yeah. So let me know what you thought of the move. Obviously, it's a loan with an option to buy and not an obligation. So Newcastle don't have to buy him at the end of this year. But I think they will. To be honest, I think he'll do well, and they'll sign him because this time next year is 20. Like, even if he's been a bit average, they can still take a punt on him because I don't think it will cost them. I don't think that he will cost them too much. Well, I have to wait and see. I don't know what kind of figures there are for potential values at the end of the season once his loan's done. But I'm really happy. I'm stoked as hell. Obviously, it's been rumoured for a while. I think back in January, February time, it was first started rumouring. Obviously, at the time, it's like, oh, it's just because of the movie, blah blah blah. But I think they've done their research. You have to. English clubs have to do their research when it comes to Mexican players in Mexico, in the Liga MX, because it's such an obscure league in England. I'll guarantee I can probably count on my hands how many people actually watch Liga MX in England. Um, so yeah, they must have done their research. They must have seen something in him that they like, and they're taking a punt on it. And fair enough, it gets him out of Mexico and into Europe. It gets them at the moment a free new signing that they can eventually buy for relatively cheap. Although Mexican clubs like to get a lot of money from Mexican players, but that's a whole different issue. But yeah, I'm really happy. Newcastle got a really good player. As I said, I think that he'll be playing the first team in by November, I reckon. They don't have any depth up front. Um, and yeah, I mean, as soon as he gets that debut, I think the more chances he gets, the more game times he gets, the better he'll do, and the more quicker that he can adapt to the country, the culture, and the league. So, yeah, let me know what you think of the move. Are you happy with it? Are you not happy with it? Yeah, just let me know. It's really cool. Obviously, they've got the movie references quite cool as well. Um, But yeah, I'm just really happy with it. I just wanted to give my initial thoughts on it. Let me know in the comments down below what you think, and I'll respond. So, yeah, take it easy, guys. See you later. Adios.